For our final project for RE106, Religion and Visual Culture, we have chosen the topic of the fetishization of money. And our group members are as followed: Siobhan Burke-Warling, Gabriel Diaz-Manrique, Grace Fitzgerald, and AQG.
What is fetishization of money? It is the illusion that money brings happiness and fulfillment. People believe that it has its own productive powers and has an existence independent of human beings that is also being able to get things done. This is also the starting point for Marx's idea on fetishism. He argues that products of labor, once produced as commodities, will be labeled a fetishistic character. In commodity economy, when people work for each other in some way, labor is transformed from a private affair into an event with a social dimension. Let's say you are a chef and your main dish is pasta. In the stage of production, you cook and serve only for yourself. However, in the stage of production of goods, where you have to consider preference from consumers, your labor takes on a social character. Because whether consumer like your pasta or not determines whether you can continue to make a living selling pasta in the future. Therefore, the sale of your pasta determines your dignity as a producer, and your career is determined by the commodity you produced. Your relationship as chef and customer is simultaneously transformed into a relationship between the pasta and money. The imaginative reliance on money permeates every social issue, even disasters such as the Haiti earthquake. The Lancet says the situation in Haiti remains chaotic and it blames agencies' unnecessary competition for funds. The magic power of money to solve problems dominates many charities to raise money. The harsh truth is that the current appeal for money is a substitute for real availability of a resource.
So fetishization of money, it also connects to Karl Marx's theory of commodity fetishism, and this is also connected to capitalism and fetishizing America. So this is the political and economic view of goods and how we view goods in comparison to how we view those who are actually doing the labor to create the goods. And this is also connected to fetishizing America and the idea of the American dream. Our thesis is the fetishization of money changes the way images have been perceived over centuries. This can be seen in David Morgan's book, The Sacred Gaze, Religious Visual Culture in Theory and Practice, through themes such as idolatry and iconography. So my first example, connecting to chapter 2 of David Morgan's book, this is an advertisement for a Dodge Viper SRT10. And as you can see in the advertisement, there is a young, beautiful woman marrying an elderly man, and there's the very nice car behind him. You could see the size of the rings and the jewelry that they are wearing. This connects to serving as instruments of influence from Morgan's book. As you can see that his money is influencing her and therefore influencing the viewer on what money can provide you. And it insinuates that beautiful women will flock to you if you have money. So this is also sexualizing money and wealth, and it's influencing our view on materialistic things and wealth and what that can give you. So although this advertisement is somewhat of a joke, the fact that it was actually printed and we see many other advertisements that are insinuating the same ideas says a lot.
Seeing is a primary medium of belief, a practice that brings viewers into focused consciousness of a reality that underpins their existence. This image shows a rapper swinging his money around on social media. The more people that listen to his music, the more wealth he makes. If he does this, it'll attract more people to believe that he's wealthy, and people would somewhat praise him for his money as well as help him gain followers.
American Dream faces harsh new reality. So in this photo, you will see a black and white printed photo of a cookie-cutter family looking at their house, as every American aspires to want and to hopefully have sometime in the future. People have strived to achieve the American dream, an idea that a person will truly be happy if they have a steady job, a wife, 2 children, living in a suburban neighborhood, a picture-perfect life. Many people do things for the sake of America because so many other people do it, which is conforming to what has been ingrained in American culture. Self-image can be something that people will obsess over, having the best and most expensive car, having the most luxurious house, wearing the biggest name brands, to some people is the only way to prove themselves and to show their success. These people are so consumed with self-image, they end up surrounding themselves by people that are the same, not realizing how unhealthy and how realistic these social ideals are.
In the Sacred Gaze, Morgan had mentioned that optical vision can be used to embolden and intensify imaginative vision. Images can serve as a kind of external scaffolding for concentrated interior experience. The acts of looking at image and evoking imagery within the imagination are ritual practice that would not work as they do without imagery. In order to achieve the purpose of selling a product, advertising always exaggerates the virtue of products through various images. Consumers seem to be attracted by the advertised product, but in fact, they are impressed by the lifestyle advertised, which is an important manifestation of the subtle influence and control of advertising on people's ideology. There's a saying that a woman's wardrobe is always missing a dress. Sometimes we, regardless the gender, act like sensual and susceptible to the ideological control of advertising. Thus, they will purchase a whole bunch of clothes, which are often more than they actually need. This is a screenshot I got from Prada Women's Wear Spring and Summer 2020 advertising, and the theme for this season is camping plain redefined as daring attitude. In this advertisement, it offers multiple viewpoints and perspectives that reflect this dichotomy. An ever-changing landscape of women that is constantly inspiring. Instead of that, its campaign revolves around a series of written acronyms that spell out the word Prada. Each acronym offers one possible explanation for the concept of Prada, but only one of many: ironic, contradictory, dichotomous, and these many attempts at definition ultimately only prove the indefinability of Prada as a single concept or idea, and the importance and irreplaceability of every woman's existence. Prada is luxury for most of us, but not a necessity, and our spending on it does not fully justify our level of consumption, but it does confirm that advertising has greatly advanced luxury consumption.
So, to continue on with Chapter 4, the violence of seeing, idolatry, and iconoclasm, I've decided to use an image of Christ appears to the apostles behind closed doors. So this connects to idolatry and iconography. You can see how the apostles and Jesus have gold halos. And Jesus is actually standing a little bit above them. And those gold halos actually are a symbol of higher status because they are made of gold. And this is showing the divinity of Jesus and the apostles. As well, you can see on Jesus's clothing, it has much more detail and gold detailing, whereas the apostles do not. So this is also showing how he is more important than the others. And this theme is still present to this day. So we see when a person has more gold or wealth, or their clothes are more expensive, or their car is nicer, this is equating to greater power and respect. So we can see how the symbolism in old religious images compared to now is very similar.
Fear of losing money. Fear of what images might do if left to themselves. Often it is fear of what they represent. People in today's society are more so focused on their social status and wealth, and people are too focused on their public image and what others think of them. This image shows a person chasing money as he fears that he will lose his status of wealth.
what American flag worship looks like. So in this photo, it seems to be a classroom of children looking up to the American flag, or in other words, worshiping it. The definition of fetishization is to have an excessive or irrational commitment to or with something. One of the more known fetishes, without it even being known as a fetish, is the American flag. The stigma around the American flag can be seen as a huge fetish to most American citizens. The American flag can become a symbol of freedom. In some cases, Americans will do whatever they have to prove that they are a true American, whether that be spending boatloads of money on unnecessary things or pasting the American emblem onto everything they own. In David Morgan's The Sacred Gaze, he talks about fetishization surrounding the American flag. He quotes, "The flag, for instance, becomes fetishized. It is the one thing people adore, worship, die for, kills for."
Scholars sacralize art and artists and has inevitably authorized forms of iconoclasm in image veneration. This photo is taken in 2019, Rose Bowl, where BTS having their world tour, Love Yourself, Speak Yourself. This stadium can hold 90,000 audience for one time, and for this concert, all tickets were sold out. It shows that South Korean male group's popularity, but also showing their economic influence. As Siobhan mentioned before, there are the pop culture idols. Some netizens blame that fans have too much money spending on their favorite celebrities, like buying double price concert ticket, as I put in the slides. Digital singles with numbers of accounts and albums like crazy for just having a good result on charts one, which is undeniable. If you add Mark's rhetoric about the fetishism of commodities to fandom, there is a great deal of similarity. Like religion, people place the unpleasantness for real life on creating a perfect image to get rid of. From the original God, to the commodities of capitalist society, to the idols today, which most of them must present themselves as perfect, polite, hardworking. Why do people like this? Because no one is forever young and beauty is as scarce a result as money. Also, life is not perfect and people are unable or unwilling to change. They begin to fantasize about an absolutely perfect God, created by them, who will always be perfect. When the celebrity made a tiny mistake, they will receive much more blame than for his one imperfection. According to their logic, it's like, I spent money on you and you deserve to live the way I want you to live and abide by those standards. And some capitalists smell an opportunity here and begin to control it. They're creating puppet again and again. Then use the same religious tactics like, you don't need to care about anything else, you just need to love him, to make him a god, to manipulate the sanity of some fans and make them lose their ability to think for themselves. The problem with the fan fandom is that consumerism without productivity and cult of personality without concern of values, both of which have religious overtones, can be powerfully organized and destructive when taken to extremes. For some people, they believe in the amount of money and strength you spend on a celebrity is in direct proportion to your affection for him.
In conclusion, David Morgan's theories connect to those of Karl Marx and how the basis of all relationships revolve around the fetishism of money. These views impact the way we all see materialistic items and icons, whether that be religious or pop cultural, and success. As Paul van der Meer once said, money makes the world go round.